Folding his hands with complete reverence, the elder prostrated himself and worshipped. Afterwards, he arose and went past the Buddha platform to reach the rear gate. There he found the image of the reclining Guanyin, who proffered deliverance to the creatures of South Sea. On the walls were carvings, all done by skillful artisans of shrimps, fishes, crabs, and turtles. Sticking out their heads and flapping their tails, they were frolicking in the billows and leaping over the waves. The elder again nodded his head 4 or 5 times, sighing loudly. What a pity! Even scaly creatures would worship Buddha. Why is it that humans are unwilling to practice religion? As he was thus speaking to himself, a worker emerged from the third gate. When he saw the uncommon and handsome features of Tripitaka, he hurried forward and bowed, saying, "Where did the master come from?" "This disciple," said Tripitaka, "was sent by the throne of the great Tang in the land of the East to go to the western heaven and seek scriptures from Buddha. It was getting late when we arrived at your honored region, and I came to ask for lodging for one night." "Please do not be offended, master," said the worker, "but I can't assume responsibility here. I'm just a manual laborer in charge of sweeping the grounds and tolling the bell. There's an old master inside who is the head of the household. Let me go in and report to him. If he wishes to ask you to stay, I'll come out to give you the invitation. If not, I dare not detain you." Tripitaka said, "Sorry for all that inconvenience." The worker hurried to the abbot chamber and reported, "Venerable father, there's someone outside." The monk official arose immediately, changed his clothes, adjusted his Vairocana hat, and put on a cassock before he went to open the door to receive his visitor. "What man has arrived?" he asked the worker, who pointed with his finger and replied, "Isn't that a man there behind the main hall? Bald-headed, wearing a Bodhidharma gown that was in shreds and a pair of sandals muddy and wet, Tripitaka was reclining by the door. When the monk official saw him, he became enraged, saying, "Worker, you deserve to be flogged. Don't you know that a monk official like me would come out and receive only the gentlemen from the cities who come here to offer incense? For this sort of a monk, why did you give me a phony report and ask me to receive him? Just look at his face. He can't be an honest man. He has to be some kind of mendicant who wants to sleep here now that it's getting late. You think I'm going to permit him to mess up our abbot chamber? Tell him to squat in the corridor. Why bother me?" He turned around and left immediately. When the elder heard these words, tears filled his eyes, and he said, "How pitiful! How pitiful! Truly a man away from home is cheap. This disciple left home from his youth to become a monk. I did not do penance while eating meat with wicked glee, or read scriptures in wrath to soil the mind of Chan. Nor did I cast tiles and stones to damage Buddha's hall, or rip down the gold from an arhat's face. Alas, how pitiful! I don't know which incarnation it was that I had offended heaven and earth, so that I have to meet unkind people so frequently in this life. Monk, if you don't want to give us lodging, that's all right. But why must you say such nasty things, telling us to go and squat in the corridors? I'd better not repeat these words to Pilgrim, for if I did, that monkey would come in and a few blows of his iron rod would break all your shanks." "All right. All right. The proverb says, man must put propriety and music first. Let me go inside and ask him once more and see what he really intends to do with us." Following the tracks of the monk official, the master went up to the door of the abbot chamber, where he found the monk official who, having taken off his outer garments, was sitting inside, still panting with rage. He was not reciting the sutras, nor was he drawing up any service for a family. All the Tang monk could see was a pile of papers on a table beside him. Not daring to walk inside abruptly, but standing instead in the courtyard, Tripitaka bowed and cried out, "Old abbot, this disciple salutes you." Somewhat annoyed by the fact that Tripitaka followed him inside, the monk only pretended to return the greeting, saying, "Where did you come from?" "This disciple," replied Tripitaka. has been sent by the throne of the great Tang in the land of the East to go to the Western heaven and seek scriptures from the living Buddha. I passed through your honored region. It was getting late, and I came to ask for lodging for one night. Tomorrow, I'll leave before daybreak. I beseech the old abbot to grant me this request." Only then did the monk official get up from his seat and say, "Are you that Tripitaka Tang?" Tripitaka said, "Yes. If you are going to the Western heaven to acquire scriptures," said the monk official, "how is it that you don't even know your way?" Tripitaka said, "Your disciple has never passed through your honored region, and that's why he doesn't know the way here. Due west of here," he said. "About 4 or 5 miles is a 30-mile inn, in which there is also someone selling food. It will be convenient for you to stay there, whereas it's not convenient here for me to entertain a monk like yourself who has come from a great distance." "Abbot," said Tripitaka with hands folded. "The ancients declared that a Taoist abbey or a Buddhist monastery all may be considered a lodge for a priest who has a claim for 3% of the food the moment he sees the temple gate. Why do you refuse me, you mendicant monk?" shouted the monk official angrily. "All you know is how to cajole and wheedle." Tripitaka said, "What do you mean by cajole and wheedle?" The monk official said, "Remember what the ancients said. A tiger comes to town. Each house will shut the door, though no one is bitten. Its name's already poor." "What do you mean by its name's already poor?" asked Tripitaka. "A few years ago," said the monk official, "there was a group of mendicants who arrived and sat in front of our monastery gate. I took pity on their hardship when I saw how destitute they were, every one of them bald-headed and barefooted, shoeless and in rags. So I invited them into the abbot chamber, gave them honored seats, and fed them a vegetarian meal. Moreover, I even gave each of them an old suit of clothes to wear and asked them to stay for a few days. How would I know that they could become so greedy for easy food and clothing that they would remain for 7 or 8 years, never giving a thought to leaving again? I didn't mind even their staying, but they indulged in all sorts of shabby activities." "What kind of shabby activities?" asked Tripitaka. The monk official said, "Just listen to my tale. Idle, they threw tiles by the pail. Bored, they pulled nails off the wall. In winter they fed fires with ripped window panes. Leaving torn doors, when hot, on the road. They pulled banners to make leggings. Gluttonous, they stole our turnips. From glass vases they often poured our oil. Gaming by grabbing bowls and dishes." When Tripitaka heard these words, he said to himself, "How pitiful! Is this disciple that kind of spineless monk?" He was about to cry, but he feared also that the old monk in the monastery would laugh at him. Swallowing his pride and his annoyance while wiping away his tears secretly with his robe, he walked out quickly and met his 3 disciples. When Pilgrim saw how angry his master looked, he went forward to ask, "Master, did the monks in the monastery strike you?" "They didn't," said the Tang monk. "They must have done so," said 8 Rules. "For if they haven't, why is your voice cracking? Have they scolded you?" asked Pilgrim. The Tang monk said, "They haven't either." "If they haven't struck you," said Pilgrim, "or scolded you, why are you upset? You must be getting homesick." "Disciples," said the Tang monk. "They say that it's not convenient here. They must be Taoists here, then," said Pilgrim, laughing. "Only a Taoist abbey has Taoists," said the Tang monk, raging. "There are only monks in a monastery." Pilgrim said, "You are useless. If there are monks here, they are the same as we. The proverb says, 'Gathered in Buddha's assembly are all men of affinity.' You sit here and let me go inside to look around, dear Pilgrim." Giving the fillet on his head a squeeze and tightening the skirt around his waist, he went straight up to the precious hall of the great hero, holding his iron rod. There he pointed at the statues of the 3 Buddhas and said, "You are actually idols molded with clay and adorned with gold. You don't possess 1 whit of efficacy inside. Or do you?" Old Monkey, who is accompanying the Tang monk to go to the Western Heaven and seek the true scriptures from Buddha, has come here tonight specially to ask for lodging. You'd better hurry and announce my arrival. If you don't put us up, my rod will smash the golden bodies and reveal your original forms of mud. As the great sage was making his threats and intimidations, a worker in charge of Vespers arrived with several sticks of lighted incense to be placed in the urn before the images of Buddha. One snarl of pilgrim sent him tumbling. When he scrambled up and saw the face, he fell down again. Stumbling all over, he fled into the abbot chamber and made the report, saying, "Holy Father, there's a monk outside. All of you workers deserve to be flogged," said the monk official. "I told you people before that they should be sent to squat in the corridors up front. Why make another announcement? One more word and I'll give you 20 lashes." "Holy Father," said the worker, "this monk is not the same as the other one. He's mean and fierce looking." "How does he look?" asked the monk official. The worker replied, "He's someone with round eyes, forked ears, a face full of hairs, and a beak like the thunder gods. He has a rod in his hands, furiously grinding his teeth to find someone to beat." "Let me go out and have a look," said the monk official.